The Saga of Floki, the dreamer who found new shores. Chapter 1, the trickster shipwright. In the fjords of Norway, where mountains rose like the spines of giants, there lived a man named Floki. His hair was wild, his eyes burned with mischief, and his laugh carried further than the cry of gulls. Some called him a fool. Others, a genius. But all knew this: Floki could build ships unlike any other. Where other shipwrights measured wood with rope and rule, Floki spoke to the timber itself. He would lean close, press his ear against the grain, and mutter, "Aye, you'll bend just right, if I cut you so." And somehow, he was always correct. His ships rode the sea like wolves ran through snow, swift, graceful, alive. Yet for all his skill, Floki was restless. At night he stared across the endless sea, and in the flicker of firelight he saw visions, lands no one had ever touched, green hills beneath strange skies. The villagers laughed at him. "Dreamer," they said. "Madman. Trickster." Floki only grinned. "Aye," he answered. "And one day, my madness will carry me farther than your reason ever could." If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss more eerie and fascinating tales. Chapter 2, the restless heart. Seasons turned, but the visions did not leave him. They grew stronger. When storms struck, Floki swore he heard Odin's voice in the thunder. When fire roared in the hearth, he claimed Loki whispered to him through the flames. He tried to ignore it. He drank mead, told jokes, even carved strange little figures to amuse children. But when the laughter died down, he would walk alone to the water's edge and whisper, "What lies beyond you, old sea? What secrets do you hide?" One night, he dreamed of ravens flying into the mist. They did not return. When he awoke, his mind was made. He would follow the birds. He would build a ship not to fish, not to raid, but to chase the horizon itself. The sea called him, and he could not refuse. Chapter 3, a ship named Skydancer. Floki began at once. For weeks, villagers watched him carve planks and hammer iron. They mocked his mutterings, his strange carvings of runes, his habit of laughing when no one else found humor. But as the keel grew, so did their awe. The ship was sleek, narrow, unlike any they had seen. Floki whispered spells into its timbers, painted ravens upon its prow, and at last declared it finished. "She will fly across the waves like a bird through the sky," he said. And so he named her Skydancer. Chapter 4, Companions and Farewells. A ship, even a magical one, cannot sail alone. Floki's family and a few loyal friends agreed to follow him. He brought sheep for wool, grain for planting, and most importantly ravens, sacred to Odin. For if the sea stretched too far, he would release them. Where they flew and did not return, there would be land. On the morning of departure, villagers gathered to watch. Some shook their heads. Others wept, believing they would never see Floki again. Floki only smiled, his eyes glittering with the madness of dreamers. "Fear not," he said. "The gods walk with me. If I do not return, it is because they have led me to their own hall." And with that, Skydancer slid into the dark waters, and Floki's true journey began. Chapter 5, the first trial of the sea. At first, the sea was gentle, like a mother rocking her child. The crew sang, the wind filled their sails, and hope swelled. But the ocean does not give dreams freely. Soon the skies darkened. Waves rose like mountains, crashing against Skydancer. The crew cried out in fear, clutching their oars. Floki, drenched and laughing, shouted into the storm, "Is this all you've got? I've seen children throw bigger tantrums." Lightning split the sky, thunder roared, but somehow the ship held. Floki's hands bled from the ropes, yet he would not falter. The storm broke, and dawn rose pale and weary. The crew looked to Floki in awe. Perhaps his madness was not folly, but faith. Chapter 6, the hunger of silence. Days turned to weeks. The sea stretched endlessly, blue upon blue, horizon upon horizon. Food dwindled. Thirst gnawed. The men muttered in fear. Floki's laughter grew quieter. Even he felt the weight of the silence. At last, he lifted one of his ravens and whispered, "Find me the truth, little brother. Show me the way." The raven soared into the sky, circling, searching. Hours later, it returned empty-clawed, empty-winged. No land. Floki released the second. It too returned. The crew's spirits sank. But when Floki released the third, it did not return. It vanished into the mist. Floki's eyes shone with fire. "Forward," he cried. The bird flies to destiny. Chapter 7, Land of Smoke and Fire. The days that followed felt endless. But then, on the horizon, dark cliffs rose. Steam drifted from valleys. Green hills stretched beneath jagged mountains. Floki staggered to the prow, tears mixing with sea spray. "The gods have not lied," he shouted. "We are the first. A new world." He leapt ashore, kissed the black sand, and raised his arms to the sky. His dream had become flesh. This land was harsh, but pure. Streams bubbled from glacier. Valleys smoked with fire. Here was a place no man had claimed. Floki had found Iceland. Chapter 8, Joy and Sorrow. At first, they rejoiced. Rivers ran clear, grass was sweet, and fish filled the streams. They built huts, lit fires, and dreamed of a new life. But soon the joy waned. The soil was thin. The winters cruel. Floki's daughter wept for friends left behind. His wife cursed the cold. Sheep died. Floki sat alone by the fire, listening to the crackle, wondering if the gods had tricked him. Have I brought them to a paradise, or a prison? Chapter 9, The Gods Whisper. One night, when despair weighed heavy, Floki walked into the mountains. Snow fell, and the northern lights shimmered above. There, he heard it, the whisper of wings. Ravens circled in the cold sky, their cries echoing across the cliffs. In that moment, Floki understood. The gods had not promised him ease. They had promised him destiny. This land was not meant for comfort, it was meant for greatness. "Yes," he murmured. "The ice, the fire, the hunger, it is all part of the gift." Chapter 10, The Legend Born. When at last Floki returned to Norway, he told of the land he had found, of green valleys, steaming rivers, and endless ice. Some laughed. Some feared. Some were inspired. But all remembered his words. And in time, many followed him, sailing across the sea to settle in the land he had named Island of Ice. And so the trickster shipwright, the mad dreamer, the man who spoke to wood and listened to ravens, became more than a man. He became legend.